Hello, I'm Patrick Wanis, human behaviour and relationship expert, PhD. Tiziana Cantone is dead. Tiziana Cantone, aged 31, took her life as a result of a sex video that was leaked and went viral. Around age 30, Tiziana Cantone made a conscious choice to record a series of sex videos, including videos where she's giving oral sex to a man and where she says, "Are you filming? Bravo." Then she chose to share those videos with a group of friends, around 6 people. And one or more of those friends chose to leak those videos and they went viral. As a result, Tiziana Cantone became famous. She became infamous. She became notorious. She was condemned, judged, mocked, ridiculed, and cyberbullied. She even tried to erase her past, but you can't erase your past. Once the bell's been rung, you can't unring it. Once someone's seen it, you can't wipe the image from their memory. Tiziana Cantone made a series of mistakes. She recorded a series of sex videos. She chose to share those sex videos with people. It's also said that the reason she did all of this was to mock and hurt her ex-boyfriend. Women turned around and said, well, maybe the ex-boyfriend did something wrong. Maybe he cheated on her. So one wrong justifies another wrong. What we also learned is that anytime you put something out in technology, it can be leaked. It can go viral. Number 2, we recognize that there are double standards. It's true that if Tiziana Cantone weren't living in Italy, which is recognized as being very, very conservative sexually, and if she were living in the US, she might have been famous instead of infamous. She might have been famous rather than mocked or ridiculed. Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian became famous, rich and wealthy by leaking sex videos. Montana Fishburne tried to do the same thing by releasing sex videos, and she didn't become famous. It's also true that if Tiziana Cantone were a man, we probably wouldn't be mocking, ridiculing, or condemning her. In fact, it is very true that women have been oppressed for thousands of years. It's also true that if a man has lots of sex with many, many women, he's looked up to, he's elevated, he's put on a pedestal, he's admired, he's honored, he's respected. Why? Because it's viewed as he has conquered many women. If a woman, though, has lots of sex with lots of men, she's viewed as having been conquered by many men. And therefore she's viewed as being dirty, tainted, damaged goods. And this exists in every culture. I witnessed it when I lived in West Africa, even with primitive cultures and with African tribes. I'm not justifying what society does. In fact, in Italy, a male journalist wrote and said it was men that killed her. No, all of society believes the same thing. Both men and women believe that if a woman sleeps around with lots of men, she's a slut, she's a skank, she's a hoe. Men believe the same thing. Even women believe that if a man has had lots of sex with many women, he's got more experience. He must be valuable and he must be powerful to have been able to conquer so many women, to win over so many women. Yes, it's true we have double standards. What we also learn from this situation with Tiziana Cantone is that, number 1, you have to learn self-control. This is something that I do. Before I send out a text message, before I send out an email, before I write a blog, before I respond in a comment, I first ask myself the very important question. If this goes public, will I stand behind it? If I have to go to a court of law, will I stand behind what I say? And what are the consequences of what I'm about to say or do? Who will it affect? The second lesson from what Tiziana Cantone did is about emotional intelligence. We have to engage emotional intelligence. Maybe she did have something done to her by her ex-boyfriend. Maybe he did do something wrong to her. And we've all been wronged by someone. Maybe a partner's cheated on you. Before you react emotionally, before you seek out vengeance or revenge, you wait and think, what are the long-term consequences of my action? Will I regret what I've done? Will I regret what I'm about to do? And I experienced this and I asked myself, if I do anything to hurt my ex-girlfriend who cheated on me, how will I feel about this in 5 years' time? Will I regret what I did in 5 years' time? Tiziana Cantone didn't get to 5 years. She made it to 1.5 years. And as a result of everything that happened, as a result of recording the videos, putting out the videos, and those videos leaking and going viral and then being mocked, judged and cyberbullied, she took her life. And of course we must have sympathy and compassion for her. However, more than having compassion for Tiziana Cantone, we must have compassion for her family, for the people that survive her, for the people that have to live with this grief and pain for the rest of their life. And I'm referring specifically to the mother of Tiziana Cantone, who was suffering so much she had to be carried to the funeral of her daughter. So again, the lessons are, think before you do something. Think about what are the long-term consequences. Learn to have not self-censorship, but rather self-control. Learn to engage in emotional intelligence and wait 24 hours or longer before sending out that email, before pressing that reply button, before leaving that voice message, before sending the text message. There is always a price to pay, and there are always consequences for our actions. I'm Patrick Wanis.